Hello folks, in today's guide we are covering the locations to all of the valuables within the Roggs Mountains and some of the Egion's Abbey. To detail these specifically, we have health gems, stamina gems, various types of Criptex, any cosmetic dyes within the area, as well as all of the Seneschal Statue locations, and all of the Iridescent Crows. I've done my best to build this guide like a walkthrough, covering practically everything about this area, whilst also making it easy to navigate with timestamps if you're looking to just cherry pick loot. Some of these locations continue from one another, so if your timestamp starts without a landmark, then you may need to go back one or two timestamps just to find the starting off point. Now, this is a fairly simple and linear section. I have some breaks here and there to fill you in on key information as and when it's needed, but aside from that, there is not much else to cover, so let's get started. Our journey starts from the Abbey Heights Anvil. When ready, head over to this Greatsword statue right here. Next, head over the bridge and upwards. Eventually, you'll locate this chest with a health gem inside. Next, simply continue following the path through. Here, you'll find this chest with a star Criptex inside.
Kid, grab that. That's a forger's Criptex. I'm opening it.
Next, head over to this chest to find a stamina gem inside. Once done, continue following the path on screen. Eventually, you will encounter a blazing sentenza. Once done, continue following the path on screen. Here, you will locate this spear statue. Next, head back inside and head through this gap. Repair the stairway using your time rune and then begin heading upstairs. At the top, you will find this sword statue. Next, continue forward to find this dagger statue right here. Next, head to the end of the room to find the key sitting inside of this coffin. Next, head back downstairs and unlock the nearby gate. Once on the other side, simply follow the path upwards towards the next anvil.
That's quite a climb.
Our next location begins from the stepstone anvil. When ready, begin following the path on screen. Eventually, you'll locate this Iridescent Crow. When ready, simply begin following the entire path on screen. Once defeating both Templars, you will be rewarded a single stamina gem for each, and thus 2 stamina gems in total. Next, simply continue following the path on screen. Once at the very top here, be sure to activate this next Anvil. Our next location begins from the Roggs Watch Anvil. When ready, simply head through this passage to activate the next cutscene. There is a simple mechanic to quickly explain here, which would be the ziplines. Whilst exploring this area, you will run into waves of enemies spawning in on these ziplines. One of them will drop a Rogg skull, and this can be used to travel on a single zipline before it breaks. So, to use multiple ziplines, you will need to keep collecting Rogg skulls. For the most part, you will be fine, but if you die a few times in particular spots, then you may need to fast travel out and farm a few up before continuing forward. Regardless, after the cutscene, kill the Roggs and retrieve your first Rogg skull. Next, continue following the path upwards. Up here, you'll want to use the time rune to repair the nearby bridge. Once done, continue following the path on screen. Once inside of this cave, you will encounter a troll. Upon defeating it, head over to this chest to find a health gem inside. Next, head to the back of the cave to locate an additional chest with a health Criptex inside.
Kid, grab that. That's a forger's Criptex. I'm opening it.
Next, continue forward and use your time rune again to repair the nearby bridge. Then simply continue following the path on screen.
Don't look!
Eventually, you will locate the next anvil, sitting just here. Our next location begins from the Chasms of Despair Anvil. When ready, begin following the path on screen. Eventually, you'll locate this Dagger statue right here. Next, break these bones to unlock the shortcut back. Then, simply continue following the path on screen. When ready, activate this troll's head and take the lift up. Next, continue following the path forward until locating this spear statue right here.
We're gonna die! We're going to die! We're going to die!
Next, continue following the path upwards to locate the next anvil right here. Our next location begins from the Celestial Cave Anvil. When ready, begin following the path on screen. Here, you will encounter the area boss King Narameth for the first time. He doesn't tend to hit as hard as the other kings, however, he does appear to be faster and have much longer combos that will relentlessly stick to you if you're not being careful. His ranged attacks aren't too difficult either, it is simply a case of evading and getting in your damage as and when you can. Once the fight is over, go ahead and open this chest with a health gem inside. Our next location begins from the Celestial Cave Anvil. When ready, simply begin following the path on screen.
Song. Don't ignore her. When she sings, it means she has a rune to offer.
Let's find her.
Eventually, you'll locate the next anvil right here. Once arriving here, you will be able to acquire the light rune from the blue lady. Having this rune means you will now be able to access a handful of areas that were previously inaccessible. I do have a guide in the works that should be out by the time that you watch this, so do feel free to check it out, and the link's in the description below. Otherwise, go ahead and select a decent weapon for your first light rune. Our next location begins from the Morlock's Place Anvil. When ready, begin following the path on screen. Once at the light rune, go ahead and take your weapon out and then head into the darkness. You mostly want to focus on traveling to the mushroom, hitting it and then quickly traveling towards the exit. Taking too long to hit the mushroom or exit entirely will cause the light to fade away, and the moment it does, the Morlocks will insta-kill you. Regardless, once on the other side, locate this chest with a stamina gem inside. Our next location begins from the Morlock's Place Anvil. When ready, begin following the path on screen. Once inside of the darkness again, continue following the path directly forward. Once on the other side, continue following the path until locating this sword statue right here. There is also an Iridescent Crow, however, we can't complete this just yet, so for now, just simply continue forward. Eventually, you'll locate this chest with a health gem inside. Next, continue through and drop down. This is simply an additional exit from the Dark Morlock room from before, so when ready, simply begin heading upwards. After the cutscene up top, go ahead and turn around to locate the next anvil right here. Our next location begins from the Dhyrias' Forge Anvil. When ready, begin following the path on screen. Eventually, you'll locate this dagger statue right here. Next, head back up and continue following the path. Here, you will locate the next anvil. Our next location begins from the Lava Temple Anvil. When ready, go ahead and enter the temple. Then use your light rune to activate the nearby bridge. Upon interacting with the hammer, you will trigger a mini-boss fight. But once done, go ahead and finally retrieve the hammer.
I've got the hammer. Let's go back to Dhyrias' forge.
Our next location starts from the Lava Temple Anvil. When ready, go ahead and begin following the path on screen. Here, you will locate the next anvil. Our next location begins from the Cocoa Hollows Anvil. When ready, simply begin following the path on screen. Once inside of this cave, head to the back and activate this cage to trigger the next cutscene.
A human.
Once done, head inside this chamber to locate this chest with a Forger's Steel ingot inside.
This steel seems valuable.
Our next location begins from the Coco's Hollow Anvil. When ready, begin following the path on screen. Make a note of this elevator, as we will be returning to this very, very shortly. Eventually, you'll locate this Sabre statue right here. Next, continue heading upwards, and once at the very top, go ahead and break these bones to unlock a shortcut to a previous area. Next, simply head back down to the elevator that I mentioned before. Whilst on this elevator, carefully leap off the edge and land on this platform. Once here, simply begin heading upwards. Once again, make a note of this rope, as we will be returning here very, very shortly. Once at the top, go ahead and use your time rune to repair this bridge. Next, head over the bridge and follow the path around to the Iridescent Crow. Next, simply follow the path on screen. Eventually, you'll face off against both Templars. Upon defeating them both, you will receive a stamina gem for each, and thus 2 stamina gems in total. Next, return to the elevator mentioned before and locate the before mentioned zipline. Once here, head on down to locate the next Anvil, sitting just here. Our next location begins from the Forgotten Rift Anvil. When ready, begin following the path on screen. At the top here, you'll locate this chest with a health gem inside. Next, head back down the elevator and leap off onto this platform to locate this Greatsword statue right here. Next, be sure to drop down the nearby ladder. Our next location begins from the Chasms of Despair Anvil. When ready, simply begin following the path on screen. Eventually, you'll locate this light room right here. Simply activate this to form the nearby bridge. Next, continue following the path on screen. Eventually, you'll locate the next Anvil, sitting just here. Our next location begins from the Morlock's Abyss Anvil. When ready, begin following the path through to this twin statue right here. Our next location begins from the Morlock's Abyss Anvil. When ready, activate this troll's head and then descend down the ladder. Once at the bottom, locate the nearby light rune and then head inside the pitch black cave. Once on the other side, locate this chest with a stamina gem inside. Our next location once again begins from the Morlock's Abyss Anvil. When ready, begin following the path on screen. Once here, you will encounter 3 sentinels. Upon defeating all 3 and charging your amulet, head over to this chest to find a health gem inside. Next, break open this shortcut and then head back through the cave. Eventually, you will reach the statue right here. Next, head into the now open chamber to locate this chest with a star Criptex inside.
Kid, grab that. That's a forger's Criptex. I'm opening it.
Our next location begins from the Morlock's Abyss Anvil. When ready, simply begin following the path on screen to unlock this final shortcut. Our next location begins from the Dhyrias' Forge Anvil. When ready, simply head up to the statue and return the hammer. Once done, head inside to face off against King Beltharun. This king may just be the scariest of them all, given his fire sword attacks do seem to completely melt the health bar, and they also have very good range, so do try to be cautious when the fire sword is active, otherwise simply dodge, guard, and chip your way through the fight, just like any other. Once done, follow the path through to the left to locate this Sabre statue right here. Next, follow the path right to locate this Paladin, whose sigil does lie somewhere below the Egion's Abbey, so we won't be able to access it for now. Next, simply begin following the path on screen. Eventually, you will locate Glinda and her giant beetle at the top. Next, simply head inside and speak with her to progress the main story. Essentially, you'll need 4 items to continue with the main story. One is the Forger's Steel Ingot that we picked up a little while ago, and the next can be collected right now by simply speaking with Glinda and asking her about the phoenix feather in her hair.
Isn't that feather in your hair the one we're looking for?
Oh, you must have put it there while I was sleeping, you wee scoundrel.
I think you've always had it.
Our next location begins from the Serpent's Amphitheatre Anvil. When ready, begin following the path on screen.
This must be one of King Tog's hideouts. Thank the forgers he's not here. He stinks. And the way he looks at me gives me the creeps.
Eventually, you'll locate this zipline. Go ahead and zip down to the previously inaccessible area. Once here, locate a Narea statue right here. Next, follow the path on screen to locate this shortcut, and then this spear statue sitting just here. Our next location begins from the Aaron and Adso's camp anvil. When ready, simply head over to the light rune and activate it.
Your turn, kid. Reading.
On the other side, you'll find King Tok, who should very easily hand over the ogre bone needed. Next, begin following the path on screen. Here, you'll find this chest with a stamina gem inside. Next, continue following the path through. Eventually, you'll locate this chest with an additional stamina gem inside. Next, continue following the path through until locating this chest with a health gem inside. Next, continue through to locate this chest with a star Criptex inside.
Kid, grab that. That's a forger's Criptex. I'm opening it.
Next, turn around to locate this twin statue right here. Finally, begin following the path on screen to locate this Iridescent Crow. Then, quite simply just follow the path on screen. Once defeating the Templar, you will receive a single stamina gem as your reward. Our next location begins from the throne room Anvil within the Crimson Fort. Once here, begin following the path on screen. After moving this swarm of butterflies, simply drop down and move it through these nearby rocks. Next, head up and interact with the nearby light rune.
Kid, can you read this?
Then simply head inside to collect the butterfly. If these butterflies aren't here for you, then I would imagine you will need to enter the Crimson Fort, locate the child, and leave with the child on your back in order to then collect this butterfly. Next, head all the way back to Glinda on top of the Roggs Mountain and hand her all of the materials required to forge the giant wing. Once done, simply interact with the bird and then let the following cutscene play out. Once done, follow the path on screen to locate the final anvil sitting just here. That is it for this guide, folks. As mentioned before, I do have a light rune guide that should be out within the next few hours. In any case, I'm working on the next section already, and I should have some more forging guides out within the coming days too. I do have a range of guides on the channel, so do feel free to stop on by and check things out. Otherwise, thanks for watching, folks, and until next time, peace.